I believe that it's time for us to be consumed in this day and age with a fire to change our lives and to have an effect upon our lives. To be a fire starter in God is not a bad thing. To be an arsonist for Jesus is a great thing. To be on fire for God is not a bad thing. To be an arsonist for Jesus Christ is a great thing. You know, why don't we start firing some of our fireballs, you know, down there in the city centre of Jesus Christ? Right. Why can't we start getting some of our fire onto the religious of this world? Why can't we start getting some of, instead of keeping it in us, you know, shut up in our bones. Shut up in our bones. Well, what's any good? Is that going to change anybody? It's going to change me if I keep it inside of me. I don't just want to change myself. We want to have an effect upon other people around us. We want to change people around us. If we go to Habakkuk 1 and verses 1 to 5, and Habakkuk, you know, he's actually questioning here. He's questioning God here. He's questioning what's going on around him. He's actually questioning, you know, he's a prophet, and he's just questioning, you know, like some of us do, we question. But I'll tell you one thing, you know, like Ronnie Moore says, that I've never been mad at God. That's one thing I've never been. Because I know that if I let God down, or if I end up let down in my whole life, that's through myself. And why would I even try and change, you know, try and God with that, when it's all down to self? You know, we have a big onus to put on ourselves, especially in this day and age. There's a big accountability in this day and age upon our lives. Habakkuk 1 verses 1 to 5. And this is a bit of a cry out for our day and for our generation. You know, for the things that are going on. You know, a guy burgled, like it was on the news this week, a guy burgling a house with a 6-year-old girl being in the bath, you know, and just taking her away and all that. You know, that's a sin-sick, lost, dying generation that are going to be in the fire. And it's going to be the consuming fire that will continually burn 24/7 for the rest of eternity. Do we want to get people out of that fire? Do we want to get people out of that fire, that flaming fire, where they're going to be totally tormented for the rest of their life? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. If there's one question, do we want people to get out of that tormenting fire? The burden which Habakkuk the prophet, verse 1. Habakkuk chapter 1 verses 1 to 5. The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. O Jehovah, how long shall I cry? Are we crying out for God to move in this day and age, in this generation? O Jehovah, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? I cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. The violence and tribulation and torment that's going on in our lives, it's in our, you know, all of our families, in some way or other, are tormented through drink, drugs, sex, or alcohol, aren't we? We are. There's people in our families that are hooked on that type of stuff. This is us crying out. This is what we need to do. We need to cry out. Cry out to thee, violence. Wilt thou not save us, God? Why dost thou show me iniquity and look upon perversionness? For destruction and violence are before me, and there is strife and contention rising up. Strife and contention and things before us rising up. Therefore the law is slack, and justice doth never go forth, for the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore justice cometh forth perverted. You know, it's like when we drive through the Bradford city centre, you know, I pull up there in my Golf, and a guy pulls up at one side of me in a big Lexus, the other guy pulls up in a big MX-5, you know, the other guy pulls up in a BMW brand spanking new 06 plate, you know, and you think, hey, you know, what's going on here? And it's like, you know, if I go out and get some credit, I might be able to get myself. You know, sometimes we think, you know, we always think negative things. Sometimes we go, this is what he's saying here, you know, iniquity, and it looks to be doing good. They look to be doing building their lives, they're building their businesses, they're building their shops, they're building their houses, they're building their lives. And in verse 5, this is God answering back to him. You know, God will always answer back with the right answer. He'll never give you a false answer. Wow. Yeah? The world is asking questions. Church, we have the answer. Yes! If you find yourselves in the church asking questions, sorry, but we have the answers, brothers and sisters. Right. The stage is set for fire. We're not setting the stage. The stage for Jesus Christ to perform in the church and in this world is set. We aren't here to create a stage. We aren't here to try and build up big ministry to try and get out there to save people. No, he says, behold, verse 5, ye among the nations, and look, and wonder marvellously, for I am working a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told to you. Some of us just won't believe it until we see it. Some of us just will not believe it until we're told that God is moving in our church, in our city, in our nation. Sometimes we want to just fly off there to, Lagos, Nigeria, or we want to go out there to Argentina, or we wanted to go out there to the Brownsville revival when it was going, and think, when it was at its, the highest. We all wanted to go there. We all wanted to go there and get a buzz. We all wanted to go there and get the fire of God, experience the glory of God, experience the passion of God, experience the zeal of God. But when we came home, we got lukewarm, we got dry, we dried out. Yeah? Well, he says here, what does it say? Be marvelous, just be amazed at what God is doing in this day and age. Be amazed at what in your day, in your time, is what is going on. Yes! In your day, in your time. Believe it or not, it's been told to you. We need to believe it. That's what verse 5 is saying. The stage is set for the fire of God to consume our lives. The stage is set. God sets driftwood on fire. Yes. God sets drifters on fire. Do you feel like you're drifting round like a log? Have you ever been out to the river and you see a log drifting down the river and it's just alone by itself, just all by itself, just drifting away, wet? That's called, a driftwood. It just drifts around, just floats around. Exodus 3, verses 1 to 8. Exodus chapter 3, verses 1 to 8. The fire of God is just a thing that will energize us and enthusiase us to do the things that God wants us to do in our lives. The fire of God will consume us. The fire of God will just really set us on fire. He'll set everything that's in there. If we're just willing just to open our lives up, just to open our minds up, just to open our hearts up to that fire. And sometimes you need to take a step back from sometimes we're walking along. Sometimes we're going in a direction. Sometimes we're just going for things that we really want to go for. Sometimes we really, but sometimes it's like going from this square to this square. We are in this square here, yeah? We're doing the things for God, we're doing things in our lives that we must do right. But sometimes you just feel like super glue has got you in that one place. You just feel like super glue has got you stuck there in that one place. And you want to actually go over the next hurdle, you want to go to the next place. And there can be all sorts of things in the way. There can be a wall of separation, wall of sin, there can be a wall of fire, there can be fire that's causing us not to go over there. But we want to really get to that next square. Sometimes we have to take a step back to realise what we were in order to get to that next place. Sometimes we need to take a step back and have an onlook. Yeah? Sometimes we just need to take a step back and look in the mirror at ourselves and realise where we were, what we were in. And I'll tell you, if we just take that step back, then we can take 2 steps forward. Because what happens is every level is another devil. Right. Every level is another devil. Right. Every time we try and process, every time we try and move forward in our Christian walk, in this life, guarantee the devil, when you get here, the devil's going to be happy if you stay in that one place. Because, sometimes if we have battles and, the devil wins them, he's happy because he's kept us down. When we start saying, well, no, I want to go further, I want to press further, then the devil starts coming at us even more.